I didn't laugh because what they said was funny, I laughed because neither of them realized. They were already knee-deep in a trap they walked into on their own. My husband stood in my grandmother's living room, voice shaking with a strange mix of fake confidence and pure entitlement, acting like he had control over something he'd only learned about minutes earlier. Behind him, his mother hovered like a hungry shadow, her eyes shining the moment money entered the conversation, already imagining how much she could grab. When I quietly whispered divorce, still smiling, their faces fell so fast it was almost satisfying. That was the exact moment I knew my plan had worked. But to understand how I got there, you'd have to go back with me to when I still trusted him back 7 years. When I thought love was simple and loyalty was automatic. He used to hold my hand like it was the safest place in the world. He used to look at me like he saw our whole future every time he blinked. Funny how those same eyes later stared at my bank statements when he thought I wasn't paying attention. His mother was the kind of person who smelled sweetness from a distance, but tasted bitter up close. Her voice was soft, her words were gentle, but every comment was dipped in manipulation. I thought she was protective. I thought she just loved her son. I thought I could win her over. That was mistake number one. The shift came slowly, small things at first. A document that shouldn't have disappeared. A text I caught only half of. A late-night phone call cut short the second I stepped into the room. Then came the moment that ripped the blindfold off completely. Overhearing the two of them, whispering intensely. Not about us, not about a shared future, but about my inheritance, my assets. My grandfather's properties, my grandmother's land. And that was the moment something cold and sharp settled inside me. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I started paying attention. They assumed I was naive, soft, unguarded. They assumed love made me easy to trick. But if anything, love made me patient enough to wait for the right proof. When my grandmother called me, she was the one person who ever warned me clearly. People show their true colors the second money walks into the room. When she handed me the documents for the hotel, a $150 million legacy, she didn't just give me property. She handed me a weapon. You'll see who they really are, she said. Just don't let them see who you are. I treated those words like law. That's when the plan began. First, say nothing. Silence makes greedy people confident. Second, move everything into a trust with me as the only authority, quietly, legally, permanently. Third, pretend I didn't notice them sharpening their knives every time they asked about my finances, or danced around the topic of inheritance. I listened to every whispered plan. I watched every boundary test. And I let them believe they were winning. Because people only reveal their full intentions when they think you're already defeated. They really thought they had me wrapped up. The night before their big announcement, I left one single document on the dining table, a harmless copy, an old version, just misleading enough to suggest the hotel transfer wasn't finished. They took the bait instantly. Suddenly they were discussing business structures, management ideas, ownership percentages right in front of me like I didn't exist anymore. The betrayal no longer hurt. It motivated me. So when they confronted me, shaking with greed and convinced they were moments away from taking control of the hotel, I smiled, not because I was surprised but because I had already won. My husband leaned forward to threaten me, starting with, "If you don't hand over operations by tomorrow, I'll..." And I cut him off with the ending he didn't expect. "Be divorced." "Yes, I know. And I agree." His jaw dropped. I stepped in closer, speaking softly enough to feel the words slice. "You can't divorce someone who filed 3 weeks before you even thought about it." His mother flinched. "And you can't take over a hotel," I added, "when your entire family is legally banned from even stepping onto the property." Then I placed the real documents on the table, fresh signatures, sealed approvals, ironclad restrictions. Their faces drained of color as they read the clauses. Fraud investigations ready to launch. Restraining orders prepared. Financial ties severed. Every single access point in my life closed for good. He whispered, "You planned this," and I nodded. "The day you treated love like something you could mine for profit." They left with nothing, not my hotel, not my money, not my name, not even the version of me who once cared for them. When the door finally shut behind them, I walked through the hotel's marble lobby, feeling the weight fall off my shoulders. This place wasn't just wealth. It was a reminder that I could love without being foolish, forgive without being weak, and stay loyal without closing my eyes. My grandmother didn't just pass down a hotel, she gave me the cleanest escape I could have asked for. And my ex-husband, without meaning to, taught me something priceless. Some betrayals aren't meant to destroy you. They're meant to wake you up. If this story made you feel something, drop a like. Comment "I choose myself" if you believe in self-worth over validation. Hit subscribe for more stories that remind you how powerful you really are.